Hello, y'all. How's it going? I just filmed a quick little intro video. And now, sorry, I'm feeling very out of breath today. I don't know why. I think, to be quite honest, I get nervous. I get nervous speaking. And even though there's nobody in the room, I don't know, I just get nervous, but I'm hoping that as I make these videos, I will get a lot better at public speaking. I definitely feel like I'm better at writing things, writing my thoughts and feelings versus speaking them, and I haven't made any kind of notes, and so that's also not helpful, but here we are. So anyway, my name is Serafina. I am today wanting to make a video review of an oracle deck, one of my absolute favorite oracle decks. I actually made a video on this oracle deck before on a channel that I had created, and then found I just didn't have the time in my life at that point in time to dedicate to actually have time to make videos for it. So you may have already seen me talk about this deck, but when I did make that video, I had bronchitis, and so I was whispering the whole time, and I know several people actually left really nice comments, and I really enjoy ASMR, and it kind of was oh, this is my ASMR oracle deck review. But I just thought it would be nice if I'm gonna do I wanted to do show and tell or reviews of what cards I have, and so I thought it would be nice to start out first and do this deck justice. So without further ado, today we're going to talk about the Divine Muses Oracle. This is the little pouch that they come in. So these are made by Marie Bento. You can find her on Instagram. You can find her under Divine Muses. You can also find, she has an Etsy shop, and she has her own webpage where she sells her cards. She has, she has a Lenormand, she has a tarot deck called the Antiquarian Tarot. I lust after that tarot deck, and I'm pretty certain that I'm going to treat myself to that really soon. I've wanted that deck for actually a couple of years, and it's just the kind of thing where I have a hard time, even though I have actually a pretty large collection of tarot, I have a hard time justifying oh, sorry, the PlayStation made a noise. I have a hard time spending more than a certain amount for anything on myself. And I'm the kind of person who I will really mull it over before I will buy something. But right now we're blessed to be living with my parents. We're kind of in a transitional phase, and I have a little bit of extra spending money soon. That's gonna end, and it's gonna be into major budgeting mode again. And so I think before I go into that mode again, I wanna treat myself to those cards. Anyway, you'll notice I'm really good at tangents, real good at getting sidetracked. Just a warning. So these are the oracle cards, and this is the book. This is quite a large book. I don't feel like we see books that are this thorough for a lot of tarot decks and even oracles. I am the kind of person who gets really excited about a good, like, meaty book like this. Sorry to call it meaty. I don't know. That was kind of a weird adjective to use. But, you know, I definitely, like, there are cards that I absolutely love and don't necessarily feel like I need a book. But there are certain people who, or certain creators who, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like the book is an art piece of its own. This book, I would sit down and just read this book just for the sheer inspiration and all of the information that is included in it. Marie did an excellent job. So there is a little introduction. Oh, hold on. There is, let me see. There is a table of contents. I hope that you can see that clearly. It looked, I hope it's not blurry. So, you know, I forget how many cards are in this. I should have looked that up before I started this video, but I mean, I feel like this is a really pretty large-sized oracle deck. This is what the backs look like. I like that pretty pattern. It kind of reminds me of like a vintage wallpaper, and the style of these, so this is a collage art deck. The style is like old vintage photographs, a lot of them black and white, that she would have, I guess, added color to. I don't know enough about like how what's the word, like the process of making that kind of art. I don't know enough about it to really explain properly, but to me it looks like there's been color added to some of them, and it's done really beautifully. But I'll get into the cards in a minute. But yeah, basically, like, I wanted to give you the style. It's vintage. I'd say, like, I don't know, it's a pretty big range, but I think the most close, I can't speak. I would say they range from like 1800s to maybe like early 1900s. There may even be some images that are older, but I wouldn't say that any of the images come from any later than like 19, maybe 30s, maybe. It is, obviously it's called the Divine Muses. So there's a set of Muse cards in here. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm in our bedroom and we have a TV and PlayStation in our bedroom. I don't know if you can hear it keeps beeping. I don't know what's up with that, but okay, so let's see. I forget how many muses there are in here. There's also animals. There's some animal cards. Okay, so there are 10 muse cards. There are 6 that are dedicated to specific animals having to do with the alchemical representation of the animal. And oof, I really, it's too many to count right now. But there's, it's I'd say a large deck. I feel like it's a really well-rounded deck as far as the ideas or the concepts and the themes of each card. Let's, I guess, get into these cards. Oh, well, real quick, Before I get into the cards though, I do want to show you how like each, in the book, each card, she really goes into it. She goes in depth on the, you know, the theme of the card, the meaning to her, the way that she came, like she'll give you keywords, okay, but then she'll go more in depth about the idea behind the card. There is a picture for each one. And then she does often give quotes. Sometimes it's a quote from, so like some of the people in these cards are historical figures. Sometimes they're just a stranger, like a photograph that she found and was able to use, but doesn't necessarily know who that person was. And then she'll also include, so like this is the same card. This is a second page. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, these are not quick little meanings, which, I mean, you don't have to have the book. I think that you can intuit things from these cards, but I really enjoy this. So I want to show all of the work that went into this book. Some people may not like this. Some people, it's too much or something. And so this is, again, the same card. We're on the 4th page. She also gives a shadow meaning. And then she gives a breakdown of the photograph in the card. And, you know, often like the symbolism of what's in the image and why she chose it. If it's a historical person, she'll tell a bit about the person. And so I really appreciate that. I really enjoy history. So this is my kind of deck. So they do come in a really nice little pouch. There's no box, which I think is great. Well, I mean, I like a box if it's like a hard box like this, like Anna Mundi, but you know, sometimes we just get like these cardboard boxes, and I'll be honest, like the little tuck boxes are crappy. Like they tear. Most of us take our cards out of it, and I mean, I try to keep them because I like it's kind of like a book without its cover, but a lot of times they tear and they just end up in the trash, or they end up looking junky. And so I really appreciate that she chose, instead of a box, to do this bag. I think that's really cool. It's also really nice, and like they fit in there nice and snug, so the cards aren't like all over the place. Anyway, so let's show a few of these. I know a lot of people tend to talk about cardstock. I am not a cardstock expert, and I just kind of know like what feels good and what feels like it's not gonna, oops. I know what feels good in my hands, and you know, some cards are like more thin. They feel like they're gonna bend more easily. These, I don't know what these are made of, but these feel good. Like they're a little bendy. They're not flimsy. They're not like super thick. So they glide, you know, when you, I shuffle like this because I don't, no judgment on how anybody shuffles, but when it comes to cards like this, I just don't want to like mess them up by bending them. So I do whatever this is called. And you know, that's just how I do it. I used to riffle, I don't know if it's riffle or rifle, but I used to shuffle like the poker card way. But I just have too many decks that are too special to me to like bend them. Anyway, But these, I think you could do both. I think you could shuffle them either way and be fine. So let's look at some of the images. This one is the Great Mother, and you can see this beautiful woman and child. We have a dove. In the background is like I don't know, almost like they're trees, like a forest. There's also a snake in the bottom. There's a lot of details in these. I'm gonna go through and show you some of my favorites. Let's see. Oh, Muse of Poetry, Emily Dickinson. Love that. This is another beautiful card called Boundaries. I think we can all relate to that concept, right? This is a card that comes up a lot for me in the last 6 months or so. This is Lionheart. That card comes up a lot. There is the Muse of Astrology. And I'm not gonna show y'all all of the cards because I don't know, like I like there to be a little bit of a surprise. But I also would encourage you, if you want to see more of them, you can. I believe she has pictures on her site. She also has a YouTube channel where she has a bunch of walkthroughs. This is one that I love, the Raven King. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Shadow Queen. That one's really cool. Something cool about this one, you see that figure above them. So I forget what the era is, but you know, when photography was just a new thing. And there was like people were having seances and you know, talking about spirits and things like that. There were a lot of photographs done like this. There's a word for it, I just can't remember. She actually talks about it in the description of this card in the book. But you'll find photographs like that were, it was sort of like a trendy thing. And I think at the time, a lot of them were passed off as a real like apparition. Iced coffee, Mondo iced coffee. And yeah, I just thought that was interesting, like little tidbits like that. Another gorgeous card and concept is the Seed Priestess. Sorry, I'm shaky. It's not too much coffee, it's just how I am. So hopefully y'all can see these. True Will. Oh yeah, this one, Ancestors. I like how many different representations there are in this card. Another one of my favorite cards is the Queen of Roses. It's very divine feminine. Yeah, this one had, although I think a lot of us know Mother Mary as Queen of Roses, but this is I believe this was a queen or princess of Portugal. She explains again in her book, but this is a painting of a historical figure, and I think she was sainted. I'm not sure if that's the right word. Made into a saint. Canonized. I think that's what. This is another favorite concept and card, the Wounded Healer. The Wounded Healer is a concept that I very much relate to as someone who has struggled with mental and emotional health, and has also always had like a desire to help others. That's, here comes my baby. Hey guys. Hi. Hey. Mommy's making a video.
Hey Mom. Say cheers.
Cheers. Silly butt. Hey, can you go find Daddy? What are you doing? I'm just gonna continue. What are you doing, Guy? Well, I'll continue, but I probably should wrap this up. Baby, what are you looking for? Bubba. Hey, where's Daddy? Hey, Daddy.
Let's go find him together, Mom.
Let's go find him together.
Okay.
Mommy will be done in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Come here, my guy. Come here. I'm gonna give you something. Hang on. Here. That's an angel stone. Go find Daddy.
Okay.
Okay. I love you. Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish this. Because if he's coming in here, that means he's getting bored out there with his dad. So we'll look at a few more cards and then I will wrap this up. So let's see. Oh, this one, Astral Ascent. Oh, so beautiful. This is one of the more ones with more vibrant color. You can tell like a lot of these are like beiges and black and white and grays, but like I was saying, some of them are really, I don't know, there's just touches of color that are really beautiful, like you could see on the Queen of Roses. This one, the Sacred Witch, very cool. Oh, I hope that light's not making this. There it goes. The Muse of Dance. That one is Josephine Baker. Very famous actress from, I believe, the 1920s. I'm not sure if she just did theater or also did like some movies. May have just been theater, but she is very, very well known. I feel like there's a good amount of like feminine and masculine energies in here. Something cool also she did is she has the Solar Feminine. And then there's a card, I think I already showed you, that is the Lunar Masculine. You know, we typically think of lunar energy as feminine and solar as masculine, and it, you know, for a lot of reasons it does fit, but there's also I feel that we each carry a bit of both, and everyone has their own unique blend of feminine and masculine. And when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about like a person's gender. It's more of an energetic frequency, you know. But I thought that was really cool how she flipped those. And she also goes into that in the book a bit too about gender, and that, you know, she's not talking about people's gender with the solar feminine and the lunar masculine. But speaking of masculine, there is Wild Man. I feel like this totally makes me think of my child because he is a little wild man for sure. Another really cool card in here. This one, Unknown. It's blank. There's a card like this in the Brian Froud Fairy Oracle too, where it's just, sometimes we don't need to know everything. Sometimes it's just wait and see. Totem of Water. There are 4 totem cards. I forgot about that too. For the elements. So there's a water, an air, a fire, and earth. Oh yeah, here's the other one, the lunar masculine card. And so I like how in both of these cards you can see feminine and masculine energy depicted. I just think that is really cool. Oh, this one. I love that green. Oh, I miss legal weed. We live in Texas now. No dispensaries here. This is another beautifully colored card, the Sin Eater. But anyway, we've got a lot more here. I'm gonna stop there because I should wrap this up, and this is also almost 30 minutes long. But yeah, this is a deck I've had I think just over a year, and I'm still as in love with it as I was when I first got it. It's a deck that I connected with right away, and every time I use it, I connect with it. I don't typically feel like I need the book, but I want it. I can read these without it, but I love diving into the book. It is an indie deck, so it's not going to be like a $25 deck on Amazon, but I think it's well worth the price of it. I should have looked that up. I forget now. I think it was $50. Also, one note to mention, right now, I noticed because I was looking at that tarot, right now Marie is, it's free shipping within the US, and she's doing 13% of every sale will be donated to the Black Lives Matter organization. I think that's awesome. And so just another great reason to support her business. Another thing I do want to let you know too, she has excellent customer service. She messaged me like right away to let me know my order had been received. She sent, I think it was an automated email, but she also messaged me on Instagram to let me know she had received my order and thank me. She mailed it like the following day. And then at that time I lived in Washington and she's located in Portland area. So I did get the deck really fast. I think I got it in like 3 days. But my point is, so I mean, depending on where you live, you may not get it in 3 days. But my point is, you know, everybody has a life. They have things going on. Even if you're a small business owner, well, for one, as a small business owner, you're often doing a lot. You're wearing a lot of hats. And I would think that could get very overwhelming. But she's just amazing. Like, her communication is amazing. She's super sweet, very nice, very like quick to get back to you about anything. And yeah, I'm just really pleased with these cards, so I highly recommend her. And she is in the process of creating another tarot deck. I think she's finished all the artwork and it's in production now, so definitely check her out. Anyway, I always don't know how to wrap these up, but I guess I'll just say thank you for listening and checking in. Thanks for hanging out with me and drinking some coffee and looking at some cards. And I can't wait to share more with you in another video. Have a beautiful week, y'all. Bye.